You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast. Starring Pete Ruggieri, Larry Maris, and Jason Lewis. This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. So sit back and enjoy some Masonic conversation without pretension. And now, here's your hosts, Pete, Larry, and Jason.
Hey, everybody.
Oh. Hey, welcome. Hey, we're here at episode number what?
31.
31.
A very cheery 31.
A very cheery 31.
XXXI.
And yeah, so we're still here. Obviously because we're not getting paid, or we'd be canceled already. So yeah, we had a good. We've been recording probably for a half an hour now, but we'll get to that later. You'll see why. So we'll start off with our normal. What have we done Masonically?
Let's start with Larry, the producer.
The week that was. Jeez, give me a break. The week that was. Well, Goose and Gridiron. Okay, fine. As I said.
Sound happy.
Jesus
Breakfast is awful
Christ
anymore.
Anyway.
Only thing I like about it is it's quiet. It's quieter than Park City Diner.
I just can't be there. My work schedule just changed. I don't know how, but it just morphed. I got to make a living.
Well, sure you do.
Well, 9 o'clock's hard for somebody that works for a living.
Yeah.
We know that. That's okay.
I asked Larry if we could try an hour earlier.
Sad.
No, Larry won't get up earlier.
No.
But I bet if you did an hour earlier,
We could go there.
Bob Maurer...
Bob will be there.
Bob would already
Bob's
be
there
there.
at 5 o'clock. Yeah. He's helping to make coffee.
But no, I'm serious. Like, if you threw out there that, hey, I can't be there at regular time, but I could be there at 8, I'm sure you'll get guys there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's my
Seriously.
ritual time.
Because some of the guys will hang out and, somebody will get there at 8 and stay till 9.
Yeah, we see all you guys come in because Jeff and I get there about an hour early and we practice ritual in the car. If you're not a Mason, that sounds horrible.
Larry, anything else Masonically? Or
Fellowship committee met, and again, a large crowd there. The fellowship, the fun things that we're doing really are, it draws people. They're really interested in it. They like to get together, have pizza, drink beer. I mean, it's a good group of people.
You mean your lodge's fellowship
and our
night?
Yeah, our lodges.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking about our lodge. Yeah, but fellowship committee. Fellowship night. When I say committee, I meant fellowship night is encompassing other lodges in our district that are starting to come in. There are 3 or 4 or 5 guys from 43. I mean, it's
So basically, for you guys that are like just, starting off listening to our show, for our fellowship night, what we do is we have a brother that he owns a restaurant. He owns a pizza shop, and there's a private room in the back. So one night a month, he opens that room up to us, and anybody can order whatever they want off the menu. And he has a beer license, so you can get sodas or beer and go back there and sit. And he will donate, I believe, 10% or 25%. He donates something off the food sales. So to whatever our charity is.
Half of the non-alcoholic profits.
There you go. And it's a good night. We always have 20 to 30 men there, just hanging out without... Somebody will always ruin it by trying to make it something official.
Is it happening this month?
It's always fourth Thursday.
Yeah, that's my...
even throughout the summer, it's going to continue.
That's an extra meeting night for us at 43, but we only have one fellow craft coming up, so I think I might come. Sorry, Pete.
No, that's okay. Larry, what else do you have going on?
That's it. Of course, I went to a lodge meeting, but I'm going to let you talk about that.
Oh, okay. Very, very good. Jason, you have anything?
Yeah, I've done a bunch. I don't know where to start. I came to your meeting, and I petitioned your lodge, and I instructed your secretary to absolutely not transfer me. I want to be a plural member, but that was fun. Came to Strawberry Night, but more to be spoken about that. But it was fun.
What's the deal with it has to be, how many objections do we have to keep you out?
3.
3?
You have to have 3. Yeah.
Okay, I'm working on that right now.
Such fellowship.
Yeah. I
I guess he could come anyway, This way, at least we get his money.
At least you're going to get his dues money. So what the heck?
You know,
And if he makes eye contact, he can have a chair.
we had a extra meeting before our stated meeting by dispensation, just because of the way the month fell, and we couldn't make it work this the way it's supposed to, because Royal Arch or somebody's in the room, blah 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 blah. So in any event, we had our extra meeting already. What else did I do? See, I told you I was gonna blank out. I've done a bunch of cool stuff and a lot of work. I'll interrupt somebody if I figure it out.
Jack, you were just saying that your Masonic events tend to happen after this podcast.
Yeah, our stated meeting's second Tuesday. So we do this the second Monday, and then all hell breaks loose. And I've got like 5 Masonic events this week, and culminated. We have stated meeting tomorrow. Of course, by the time this airs, it'll be last week, but. Stated meeting tomorrow, Thursday, Royal Arch. We have a table chapter at Royal Arch this week. It's dinner at the Marriott. Real nice high-end dinner. I think you came to the last one, maybe-ish. And then Saturday is the Raising in the Cave at Penn's Cave up in... or Indian Echo Caverns.
Yeah.
Indian Echo Caverns. We're having a Master Mason degree. We're renting the entire cavern entrance area and the cave, so it's a private party. Taking 120 chairs down 95 flights or 95 steps to the area at the bottom, and we're gonna not have Larry Maris there.
It's a little bit of a walk if you were having some physical issues.
It's definitely not handicapped accessible, but it is something that we're doing special as a commemoration of the 300th anniversary of not the founding of Freemasonry, but the founding of the founding of the premier Grand Lodge of England. Freemasonry existed well before that, as we all know.
And any work done on your Rathskeller?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I got a PowerPoint I'll show you in a couple minutes.
That'll look good in the headphones.
You can hold your
Our
face
listeners will love
real
that.
close to your iPod. But we're presenting tomorrow. Whether or not it gets held over for a month, we're not really sure. If it gets held over for a month, it's not going to happen for 5 or maybe 6. So we're hoping to present it and have the brothers say, this is such a fantastic idea, we want to go ahead and do this. But we're turning our beige dungeon into a replica of Old English tavern. So it should look nice.
You know, that could be a good topic for a show sometime, just the uniqueness of all the different lodges, because I would never, not just our lodges, but the dynamics of owning your own building, not owning your own building, that would never fly in the Masonic Center. And it's such a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk for days about our center.
Well, the big thing we had many years ago, back in 1999, a brother passed away with no family, no church affiliation, no, not much of nothing, and left the bulk of his estate to the lodge. So it was a fantastic bequest. It set us up basically almost in perpetuity. So that money's been growing and growing and growing, and we looked at a couple of other options, buying buildings and things like that, and it was like, nope, we're here, we own this building, and we'd like to have a nice place. I mean, you walk into that place and the basement's just gross.
Yeah, and you guys already did a good job with your lodge room. I think it's maybe the best looking lodge room in the county.
By far.
Some awe and majesty there that none of the other ones have.
But it's just that. I mean, that's the beauty of that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one comes from Lancaster to visit us ever, except when they have to.
Because you don't have an elevator.
And
But there is a liquor store on the first floor.
Yes, that we don't have a door into.
You can elevate your spirits, Larry.
There you go.
So let's see. What did I have going on? I went to our stated meeting and our strawberry night. I'll save that for a second because we also had Tall Cedars picnic on
Saturday.
It's always a good job. It's always a good time.
The Tall Cedars picnic was fantastic. It really was.
Despite Jeff Moyer's attendance, it's a good time.
And he tried to ruin it for everybody, but we kept moving him back toward the tree line further and further. And the more people came, the more he moved back. So
my wife made a comment. Look how nice it would be to have dogs that we didn't have to worry about killing people. As there was like 4 nice dogs just playing in the yard without leashes. Oh. So strawberry night. So 3 out of 4 of us were at our strawberry night. So I think that maybe is just a Pennsylvania thing or a central Pennsylvania thing. But our June meeting, traditionally, strawberries are in season. So we get a metric ass load of strawberries from the...
Beep.
From the...
That's pretty mild.
Yeah, from the Masonic Village's farm market. And Mrs. Hoover goes ahead and prepares them. And we have a meal. And then after the meal, we have our meeting. And hopefully we come down pretty quickly and enjoy strawberries and ice cream. So...
And pretzels.
Yeah.
That must be a Central PA thing.
Ice cream and pretzels? No, that's everywhere.
So, I mean, the dinner was good. That's, nothing to whine or complain about the meal. That's always good. Went up to our meeting, and typically the meeting we try to get done really quickly. And then the worshipful master decides to, try and do something interactive, which I applaud, with the whole room, and ask people's opinion on things. And, of course, nobody says anything because... everybody wants to go downstairs and eat strawberry and be back with their spouses. Except for 3 people decided to talk.
Oh, yeah.
You'll never guess who the 3 people are.
Easy now. Easy
Jason Lewis.
Oh.
No, I didn't talk.
Not you?
No, he didn't.
Oh, it wasn't you. I'm sorry.
I was sitting next to somebody
Yes.
who talked.
So it was Larry Maris. 3 guys that just need to hear themselves talk. And they really added nothing to the discussion. They took 15 minutes away from me and my strawberries.
Always tearing people down, Pete. Gotta build them up.
So we go back down,
in
and
this together.
my wife immediately makes eye contact with me, and she was not happy. So our presentation, set up by our junior warden,
Junior warden, yeah.
was like a damsel in distress safety training. But it's kind of like a Tupperware party for stun guns. So, you could fill out a card, and they're going to give away a stun gun. But they also generated $300 in sales from the captive audience of guests that we invited to a sales presentation. It's kind of like when you're at the in Mexico at a resort, and they offer you a free day, and then you get sucked into a presentation.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I discussed that with Larry, our junior warden. I still don't think he gets it, but do you guys? I don't know. I just think that's in poor Masonic.
Mercenary?
Mercenary.
I don't.
We did ask him to be on the show tonight. However,
he did not take our
Yeah,
call.
he's
No. He said he would be here, and we didn't invite him.
No, we did invite him.
No, there was a post, and he said I'd be happy to come on.
He has a conflict. He would have been happy to come on at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
Okay, understood.
He think they have a special meeting tonight or something like that. Yeah, he's a meeting tonight.
I think that it's difficult to come up with something new and fresh all the time, and I think that Larry's really, really trying.
No doubt.
He is trying really
breath of
hard.
fresh air, and he's an asset to the lodge.
At our lodge, the ladies are going to be downstairs doing a cupcake decorating event. Because our worshipful master's wife is a baker. So
Is that your ladies' night, or is that your strawberry night?
It's both.
Okay.
We have a very busy night tomorrow.
We in the past have had probably one of the greatest ladies' night in the history of our lodge.
Very educational.
Very educational.
Chippendale.
And the master of the lodge happened to be none other than our own Pete Ruggieri.
Oh, wait, and we're giving him guff about
And
tasers?
it was probably the only ladies' night anybody remembers from my lodge.
That's right. We remember it to this day. And I wasn't even there, but I remember it.
We had Jack Hanna, Jungle Jack Hanna or something,
God.
and a traveling reptile show.
Awesome.
Handing out snakes to the ladies. You could tell I wasn't married.
How very Pete of you.
Oh, you know what?
And the rule was afterwards he counted the stakes. He brought 20, but he only found 19. So someone said one of them is still in the lodge to this day. And every now and then we find a skin in an attic or a crawl space.
Oh, that's fun.
We also did get I think a very nice presentation by our district deputy.
The Rock.
Yeah, so one of our
Wait, The Rock is our district deputy?
no.
Dwight.
No, our district deputy is also named Larry. Apparently, 50% of the First Masonic District is named Larry. But, I don't know how many, I forget, I don't have the PowerPoint here, but there was a building on the campus at Masonic Villages somewhere between 50 and 100 years ago that was built.
Slaughterhouse.
And it was a slaughterhouse. There's a prettier name for it, but...
Yeah.
It was a Lamberton house. Yeah.
So it was a past master of our lodge donated a significant amount of money, and it became like the state-of-the-art meat processing facility. So they kind of told the history of the building, and they tore it down to make, I don't know, a Circle K or something. I don't know, but the district deputy brought one of the stones from the building and presented it to the master of our lodge. So I don't know what we're going to do with this stone. I say before every lodge meeting, we touch it like we're at a, like
Notre Dame game
where they touch the sign or something, for good luck. But
I got your answer right here.
You can have the traveling stone. You can compete with the traveling gavel.
and nobody wants to win it. Nobody wants to win it because it's so heavy.
The stone of scone.
I said just put a chain on it with a bathroom key. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with the rest of our show. Hey, and we're here with Brother Seth Anthony on our jury-rigged telecom system. How you doing, Seth?
I am well. Only the highest quality audiovisual elements for this podcast, I know.
Right. So, about 10 minutes before showtime, Seth messages me and goes, how are we going to do this thing tonight where I call in? I'm like, I have no idea. That was what Larry was talking about. So we have my cell phone on speaker laying next to a microphone. And none of us are wearing our headphones. We're just yelling into the one microphone.
For what it's worth, the producer wasn't briefed. This is what we get for boasting we have the best sounding podcast.
All right.
This, on the other hand, is more like up Periscope, if you've seen that.
So we'll bury this in the middle of the episode. So, Larry, you wanted to talk about conspiracy theories. So
Yes.
Go ahead and bring us up to speed on that.
Says thanks for showing up and putting up with this. Whatever. I wanted to talk a little bit, and you sent me a lot of information. Of course, I'll just ask a question to start the discussion. Do we think that Freemasons have ever been involved in any kind of conspiracy in the history of our fraternity? Open for discussion.
I have the final I have the correct answer, so I'm going to go last.
Seth, you want to pop up?
I've been around Pete and Masonic politics long enough to know that almost everything we do is a conspiracy of some sort. Most of it just involves pancakes, waffles, ham, or what we're going to eat, though. I don't think it's actually going to be productive in any sort of political or forceful way.
Jason, you have any input on the conspiracy theory to put it to rest?
Pies. Somehow somebody gets suckered into buying pies.
And we screw up a pie sale? That doesn't, yeah.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So Jack and I have the real answers.
Yeah, I know.
I think, personally, that from its very inception in the 1700s, this fraternity has been 100% about conspiracies. And that is to say, I believe that the reason it spread as far and wide as it did was that business people in those days made agreements with each other to support each other and to view one man's, I'm not even going to say it the way we say it in the work, but in the third degree, you're told to see his necessary obligations as inseparable from your own, right? So for me, this was a way to ensure international commerce by swearing everybody that guy knew to an oath to protect you. So for me, that's where I see conspiracy in the fraternity. I think it's in its DNA. Now, the problem with that is because we have now a sinister definition of the word conspiracy. And that, I think, is the problem. Because what it means is to whisper together. That's what the word conspiracy means. So I think absolutely we do that.
If you were to go by like the crimes code definition of conspiracy,
Right.
you know, we're planning to steal pancakes. Okay, so the four of us decide we're going to go somewhere and we're going to steal pancakes. Well, maybe we trust each other because the four of us are Masons and we trust each other as friends. And when it goes in the paper tomorrow that when we get caught, it'll be area Freemasons steal pancakes. But
Conspire to steal pancakes.
right. But like our worshipful master didn't say you guys need to go steal pancakes.
Ah, there you go.
My district deputy, the Grand Lodge, like it's anytime you get a group of individuals, whether they're police officers, firefighters, office workers, I don't care what they are, and they have their own little pact of trust.
Yeah.
Like it creates an environment that if somebody wanted to do something nefarious, they think they have a little bit of secrecy. And I see it all the time on the news with police things where, depending on how somebody wants to spin the news, it'll be, Christians boycott this. Well, no, it's, one church might, it's not like all Christians got this memo, or like when they always say, like, there's a shooting, an unarmed teenager, that automatically puts you on the defensive that is nefarious.
Sure.
That teenager could have just drove over 5 people.
Right. But again, and this goes back to something we talked about a couple episodes ago about differentiating between someone who is a Mason and something that is Masonic, right? So to intentionally harm anyone is certainly not Masonic.
Agreed.
But
and to that point, Jack, the nature of the way our Grand Lodge system is built and set up is really nothing could be a conspiracy beyond, a state level or a national conspiracy. We can't agree on who's a Freemason across state lines, let alone agree on a national conspiracy wherein we're all going to try to control everything.
right. And that goes to, I was talking about this earlier. You look at Civil War history. There's brother against brother across the battle lines at Antietam, and there was no conspiracy to join together there. But Napoleon was a Freemason and invaded the Romanovs, who were also Freemasons. So where was the conspiracy there? It all breaks down to human individuals and whether or not they're living the code that we teach within Freemasonry, and that is to consider one man's interests as inseparable from his own. And that, I think, is the crux of what we ought to be doing, and for the most part, no longer are. Larry looks like he wants to speak.
Yeah, historically, though, the French Revolution is in my mind right now. Because that, to me, was one vast conspiracy to overthrow a king and to overthrow a whole family of royals. That was very, very much so, although denied to this day, somewhat orchestrated by Freemasons.
Or men that were Freemasons.
Men that were Freemasons,
But not,
exactly.
but
You mean the Sons of Liberty?
No, I'm talking about
France. I'm
French
sorry.
Revolution.
Yeah.
The French Revolution.
yeah, but I mean, there was no call from on high, a directive,
No, absolutely
and to
not.
digest the decisions.
No, there was a movement, right?
No, absolutely not. But case in point is, in France today, Freemasons are afraid to even link themselves with anything that has to do with a conspiracy or with the government for fear of any kind of retribution that still dates back to 1790. So, I mean, and again, if you study that French Revolution very, very close, you realize that we had a lot to do with that.
Well, yeah. I mean, their rally cry was liberty, equality, fraternity.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, exactly.
Good. So it sounds like you were trying to get a word in.
But, as Jack said, it's the issue of Freemasons doing things themselves independent of the great organization versus something the organization has deemed important. So as I look through, the big list of Masonic conspiracy theories here, trying to tie us to the KKK, the Orange Order, and there was just a recent article out saying that the Klan was more influenced by Freemasonry than any other institution, enough so that Art de Hoyos had to write a letter to the editor saying, you've got this all wrong. So the Bohemian Grove, the Skull and Crossbones, the KKK, the Orange Order, just because a Freemason independently went and joined and participated in one of these bodies doesn't make it a Masonic conspiracy any more than a member of your church going and joining something becomes a conspiracy.
Right. You can go to, my college fraternity. We had terms that we used that I had no idea were Masonic until later I joined the Masons. I'm like, oh, that's where blackball means, Well, that's why we say that when we don't take somebody. Or if you look at the Mormon church, the guys that created the Mormon church were Masons. So when they set up, ritual, of course that was a ritual they knew, so that's why a lot of their stuff but it wasn't a conspiracy,
So other
to Jack's point about,
okay. I was going to ask you actually, Seth, for some other examples of Masonic related or assigned conspiracies that we've blown up. I know you're real big on Leo Taxel and all that.
I know the Mafia, the Teamsters, and the Freemasons killed Kennedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I think if you look at all the stuff we've ever been tied with, the only one that technically and historically holds any water, even to the faintest degree, is the ties to the Illuminati. And there's the pop culture version of the Illuminati that's out there now versus what it really was. And in reality, it was an organization of guys who tried to use Freemasonry for their own purpose that lasted all of 3 to 5 years, something like that. Yes, it was a conspiracy, but to the extent that people want to label it, not so much.
I was sure you were going to say William Morgan.
I just talked about William Morgan the other evening at a commandery function. And for what you will, I've been to Batavia, New York, and I think there's not a whole lot to do up there other than come up with conspiracy theories.
Well, at least for 6 months of the year, anyway. But Bob Hurd put a good book together on that whole project. And at the end of the day, it came across more as a Keystone Cops adventure. But clearly there was some Masonic cover-ups involved there, no doubt about it. And it resulted in the anti-Masonic movement just gaining strength and becoming really a small juggernaut in the 1820s.
Well, it gave what's-his-face, Thaddeus Stevens, something to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think this whole topic came up initially, at least with Larry. I shared in the roughly 2 years I operated the Grand Lodge website for Pennsylvania, was kind of the man behind the screen on that. The number of emails and contacts we would get in a given month of folks laying conspiracy theories at our doorstep or asking the Masons to conspire to help them or things. Most lodges may not see that, at least on the local level, but on a state level, those issues are actually far more prevalent than I think most people realize. And I'd be willing to bet if you asked any Grand Secretary how often he's contacted by folks either claiming a conspiracy against the Grand Lodge or asking the Grand Lodge for help for whatever their recent ailment is pretty staggering.
So if I have a conspiracy, will they help me?
I think you have to ask the district deputy grand master, consult the Iron Reason, get the approval of your worshipful master, and then work it up the chain.
Okay. I'll wait a couple years for that.
Can we have an exploratory committee first, please?
Now, Seth, you can't give us that kind of info and not give us a sample of what a typical letter is like.
I saw stuff that was all across the board. I office per se, but I know some folks who were down there. It was not uncommon to get letters from prisoners, asking for assistance, either of money or to vouch for their character or something like that. It was not uncommon to get multi-page emails, that would be 5, 6, 7 pages long of a diatribe of how, the Freemasons were conspiring against them, and please stop bothering me, and I'm going to call the police on you. It really ranged all the way across the board, and in most cases, there's not a whole lot you can do. You're not going to respond to these folks because that'll either just play into it or cause more trouble. So you kind of just read it and go, man, I hope some of these folks are getting some mental health help, because it is legitimately concerning. If there's a legitimate threat, we have to operate on that appropriately. And I know enough folks who work at major Masonic installations that's a concern. You think about the George Washington National Masonic Memorial down in Alexandria. It has been, reported in the news as a potential terrorist target. We've had shots fired on our own Grand Lodge building in Philadelphia at one time. Scary stuff that you have to think about, that we try to put on this brave public face of we're not a conspiracy theory, but those who want to find us and do us harm, we got a big square and compass on the side of our buildings that can cause some concern.
Well said.
Well said. Thank you, Seth.
And we have it pretty good here in the U.S. I mean, as it goes globally, there's lots of places where you can't wear your ring or your pin or your hat.
I know that in other countries like Italy and France, where there's men that were Freemasons, did get involved in some kind of nefarious political things. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know, that kind of just puts a taint on all of us when that happens.
Right. It's like when you put that fish symbol on the back of your car and drive down the highway with a finger extended out the window. You can't do that. When you're wearing the square and compasses, even when you're not, right? You should behave the way we're taught to behave. That's
to that point on recent events, though, that we see, I follow the Grand Lodge of Russia on Facebook and on Instagram, and it's not uncommon to see members in photos to hold their hands over their face.
Yeah.
They're happy to be Masons, but they don't want their face out there. And then you look at what's going on in Italy, where the state, the government, has tried to seize the records of Masonic membership. We've got it pretty easy here in the U.S. when it comes to are we conspiring. Around the globe, these guys are putting themselves in legitimate danger, at least from a career standpoint or their vocation, by being associated with a fraternity.
Excellent. Seth, I do thank you very much for allowing us to talk to you tonight. And it's always good to get your input because you are absolutely a wealth of knowledge. Thanks for coming on the show. We could be talking about this for the next 25 days in a row and not really get to the bottom of it all.
Let us know if there's any good conspiring going on we want to be a part of.
I think the biggest conspiracy I have right now is to find something that's going to cut the grease from the buttering up that Larry just did. So
Nice.
Smooth.
All right, Seth. Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for doing the Corpora Obscurum, no matter what Larry says.
My pleasure, guys. I appreciate
Love you,
the
Seth.
opportunity, and best of luck as usual.
All right.
Everybody, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, Seth.
Take care, fellas.
Next on the list, Larry has fan mail, hate mail. So we love hearing from you. Please send us an email, masoniclightpodcast@gmail.com, or call us and leave a message at 315-596-2666.
What does that spell?
That's 315-59-MASON.
Ooh.
It's a conspiracy. Make sure you check out our website at masoniclight.com. And you can find us on the interwebs or listen to us at masoniclight.com. You can find us on SoundCloud.
Just Google Masonic Light Podcast and
Google
everything
Play.
comes up.
But if you call us
iTunes.
and leave a nasty message on the voicemail, you might hear your nasty message on this program. So there you go.
And I understand there's some celebrities that might be calling in soon. I'm not sure.
Yeah, disclaimer, if you call,
We're going to use you.
I'm going to use it on the air.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back. Right now, we're going to jump into Seth Anthony and his Corpora Obscurum.
More Seth.
All Seth all the time.
Never get enough Seth.
You're about to enter
Corpora Obscurum.
the realm of weird fraternal organizations.
Leave your Freemasonry behind.
Prepare to meet druids, caliphs, and wild creatures.
Knock thrice.
And enter at your own risk.
Welcome back to Corpora Obscurum. Today we're tackling probably the best known non-Masonic fraternal group out there, the Oddfellows. The Independent Order of Oddfellows, abbreviated IOOF, also known as the Three-Link Fraternity, is an altruistic and benevolent fraternal organization derived from the similar British Oddfellows Service Organization, which came into being during the 18th century, at a time when altruistic and charitable acts were far less common. While several unofficial or self-instituted lodges had existed in New York City sometime in the period between 1806 and 1818, because of the charter relationship, the American Oddfellows is regarded as being founded in Baltimore at the Seven Stars Tavern on April 26, 1819 by Thomas Wilde and some associates who assembled in response to a newspaper advertisement. The following year, the lodge affiliated with the Manchester Unity and was granted the authority to institute new lodges. In 1842, after an elementary dispute on whether the American lodges were to be involved in decision-making procedures, the American lodges formed a separate governing system from the English order, and in 1843 changed their name to the Independent Order of Oddfellows. The word independent in the organization's name was given by the English parent organization as a part of the charter title in the new North American chapter. In the following year, lodges were instituted all over the country, first in the East, later in the West. The Oddfellows at one time were larger than Freemasonry, boasting more than 1 million members nationwide. The organization is ruled by the Sovereign Grand Lodge in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which covers North America. Each state has an associated Grand Lodge, which governs local lodges. The Oddfellows also have many side degrees and organizations, but we'll cover those in a future segment. Today, Oddfellows lodges still exist in many communities around the U.S. Membership is now open to both men and women, with many lodges being incredibly active and diverse. The group works 4 degrees in the basic lodge: initiatory, friendship, love, and truth. Want to know more? You can learn about historic fraternal groups and the effect they had on America by visiting and supporting the J.H. Rathbone Museum, located in Lafayette, Indiana, and on the web at www.jhrathbonemuseum.org.
Hey, you just heard from Seth Anthony yet again. So I came up with an idea for a new game: love, hate, meh, and that's spelled M-E-H. So we're just going to run through a bunch of topics. We're going to do a panel discussion around a table and just tell us whether you like it, love it, hate it, or you just don't really care. So first thing, we're going to start with Larry. We'll go Larry, Jason, Jack, and then myself. So Larry, one-day classes.
Hate.
Jason?
Meh.
Jack?
Meh.
Hated it. All right, so... all
Jack,
right.
I think mate's a word.
Meh. No, it's meh. Right.
Larry, sales presentations during Masonic events.
Actually,
It's a three words, Larry. Love, hate, or meh.
Actually wasn't
I
one
love
of
it.
All right, Jason.
I wasn't there, but I love it.
You were there for berries.
Oh, I wasn't there for the presentation.
Oh, okay.
I take an NA on that one.
Oh, okay.
No, meh.
I'm for it. I'm all about mercenary or other improper motives.
Yeah, I'm for it too. All right.
Want to sell a scarf?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, pot, meat, kettle. Right? Larry, table lodge.
Table lodge. Nah.
Jason?
Every year, meh. Every other year, love it.
Every third year, love it.
Yeah. One special occasion, love. Anything else, hate.
No. Mandatory every year, no.
Larry, Lodge in the Woods every 2 years.
Yay.
Actually, every 2 years. No, I loved it the first time I went there, but because of my infirmities, I'm probably not going to get back there. But it's a great experience. Love.
Jack, you're selling tickets.
It's
So
my event, so I love the hell out of that son of a bitch.
All right, yeah, I've been to one too, and it is really cool. So I go with love.
For more information,
Yeah. Larry, the Pennsylvania, and I'm sure other Grand Lodges may do this thing. We have a thing called the Master Builders Program where Master Masons can achieve different levels of, Master Builder. What are the other ones?
Master Builder, Master Craftsman, and Master Pillar.
Right. And in order to get these, you have to do a lot of neat little things like go to a youth event, go to another lodge, go to Grand Lodge.
participate in degree work.
Whoa.
Twice.
Wow.
So, and then you get the
Wavelength.
special recognition. So, Larry, we're going to go to you.
I say love it.
Love it.
Love it.
And I love it too. I think it's one of whoever the Grand Master or whoever the people that came up with that idea, I think it's one of the coolest things I've seen Pennsylvania Freemasonry do.
I think that was Bob Bateman's doing.
Good job, Bob.
Attaboy, Bob.
All right, and we're gonna do our last one here. We're gonna have this in the future, I think, but last one, and we're allowed to expound on this one a little bit if we like. Larry, the traveling gavel.
Oh God. I'm gonna say, to keep myself from getting any trouble, nah.
Jason.
Made it, move it, love it. I'm in between meh and love.
Jack.
Meh.
And I'm not shy. I hate the damn thing. Like, whoever came up with the idea in the beginning, it was really cool. And then when every single Grand Lodge in every single district decided that they had to have one too.
What other Grand Lodges are doing it?
They have it in other states.
Stop asking questions.
They have it in other states.
I thought it was a discussion.
But like, yeah, it was kind of a cool thing. But now, like, that they've watered it down to like, what happens if you get it? Nothing. You get the piece of wood.
You don't even get to keep it because eventually you have to give it to somebody else anyway.
Well, if you have it in your possession in November, it's yours to keep for the year, and they make another one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it was something that your lodge could use, like an Applebee's gift card, or I don't know, a spittoon, something. But
have those at Ephrata.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I just think it's, and I said offline earlier. That's Larry's camera. I said it offline earlier.
Larry hasn't found the mute button yet.
Larry and I used to work for a Fortune 10 communications company, Verizon, and we were union employees. So it was very bizarre. We were salespeople, but we were union, so they couldn't pay us. They couldn't pay us commission. So we'd have these sales events where
talk about conspiracy.
Yeah, we'd have these sales events where if you sold, let's say, caller ID, the manager would run around and glue a helium balloon to the back of your chair, so you could look across the call center and see who so it motivated some people to sell more, to get more balloons. I don't know.
Motivated P.
Yeah, it didn't motivate me. All right. So that's it for this segment.
I want to talk about the.
All right, go ahead.
I don't think it's a terrible idea. I mean, it's one of those things, if you don't swing, you're never going to hit or miss.
Does it motivate you to go to another lodge?
I think that when it's presented or it's taken, because I've been there for one of the transactions, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and there's a presentation to it, and it's a cool little piece of memorabilia. That's cherry soda, by the way.
Yes, of course.
Keep wishing.
And I think that if you don't like it, then don't participate. I mean, it's there's a lot of other things we can spend our time on. If that's not your cup of tea, then there's something else.
Right. Traveling between lodges, great thing. Meeting other people, great thing. Anything that encourages that, I'm in favor of. Turning it into a competition kind of undermines it a little bit.
I think what is happening is that
now there's just too many of them.
There's a party of people that want to go get it or they want to go give it away, and then they are trying to find people to go, and it's as opposed to like, hey, let's go give the gavel away. It's like, man, I got to find 5 people to go with me. I think that's what's happening.
Right. So big lodges like Ephrata and your lodge are the ones that'll keep winning. And if it's Quarryville, if Quarryville had 2 people visit any other lodge in the country, they should get a medal. Some of these lodges that have few members and little, unless they start handicapping
we got skunked. We went up to, I don't know, someplace, I forget where it was north towards Higgins up. Likens. We went to Likens from our lodge. We had, I think, 14 guys from our lodge. All of us carpooled and went up there to the meeting, and we were stoked because, I mean, we'd never had 14 people together for an event like that. And West Shore Lodge comes in with 27 guys. Boom. Here. Great. Nice meeting you. See ya. Done.
Right. And if you
boy, was that disappointing.
If you factored in the handicap, you guys should have won.
I think that this all boils down to the
no sour grapes, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but no sour grapes. Good for them for bringing that many people out. That's the way it runs. That's what it was supposed to be. So it worked exactly the way it was supposed to.
You should get like a tack hammer.
But we,
a Masonic,
like a Masonic thumbtack. That's what. Yeah. But no, all seriousness. I mean, it was. We were colossally bummed.
I think the lowest common denominator, and what's happening with the traveling gavel, is that there's so much to do. I mean, we just came out the coattails of Scottish Rite Reunion. You guys just had a picnic. We're all in Tall Cedars. We just had Tall Cedars. We just had a 24-hour race against racism that the senior warden of my lodge, busted his tail on, and the entire district was involved in that. Then they have to have meetings about the blood drive. Then they have to have meetings about the car show that's coming up. And now they're working on, we got Lodge in the Woods around the corner. We got the Cave Degree. We got the Quarterly. And I mean, it's
Relay for Life.
Relay for Life. And you know what? That was great. And there was a good showing. That's one of the things I did. I was there at 4 a.m. And then when you get somebody's like, oh man, let's try to get a bunch of people together. It's like, it's my night off. I want to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one of my things is those of us at this table and the majority of very active brothers I know are active in multiple bodies. Now, there's a few guys like our principal of school instruction, Ron Carson. He may be in 1 or 2 other little things, but you only ever see him at Blue Lodge events. Mm-hmm. And there's other guys, I only ever see them at Tall Cedars.
It's unfortunate because I bet you that there are some things that he would like. He's a member of Grotto, by the way.
Yes.
But Blue Lodge has got him running hard.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many things in our area. I guess we're kind of blessed. Maybe some states and some areas don't have a lot of options, but we have too many options.
It's being a musician back in the day. It was you never played the local club more than once a month, because nobody would come to see you because I can just do that again some other time. And when you have all these options, and there's a lot of them that are mandatory, especially if you're active, that the stuff that's not mandatory and that's not that exciting, if we only had 2 or 3 cool things going on and the traveling gavel was one of them, it would get way more play than it gets right now.
Right. Like if Lodge in the Woods is every 2 years, if a district-wide table lodge was every 3 years, you would get a huge turnout. If you start having it every year, nobody's going to go. And if you have it by lodge, and now Chapter did it last year, and they actually had a good turnout because they had never done it before. And it was a neat idea of, but this year attendance is way down. Because people did it last year. I don't know. Alrighty, so let's get on to a lighter topic. I have a gift for Brother Jack Harley.
What?
I have a gift for Brother Jack Harley.
Oh, I was going to buy this from you.
Man, look at that through the headphones.
Everybody look. It's right there.
So Jack had mentioned to me, because I'm making a lot of stickers now for MasonicScarves.com. I'm making a lot of stickers because nobody wants to buy a darn scarf in the summertime. And Jack says you should make a forget-me-not. So I had some forget-me-not stickers printed.
Cool.
And you guys actually
had also buy some from.
And you guys had a disagreement about the history of this.
No, not a disagreement.
It's not a disagreement.
Okay, gotta explain it.
I don't care what he thinks.
Okay.
So that's not a disagreement.
All I said is I read.
Jason looks so hurt. Oh my God!
I read something interesting.
Oh my God!
And I didn't disagree with you. It was more like an addendum.
So in World War II,
this is the time I wish we had a camera.
Right.
You just took a picture, Larry.
What we've been taught about this was that in World War II, right? What I think the article that you're that you saw was, yeah, well, that's kind of clever myth, and it didn't really happen that way, and it doesn't really, that's not what it was. Is that kind of...
Yeah, now I got to give credit where credit is due. I just listened to the Masonic Myths episode of the Masonic Roundtable where they talk about this.
Okay.
But continue.
And do they believe in it?
Do they believe
in it?
It's not a belief or not believe. It's
a conspiracy.
It was used before the war by Germans for all sorts of charitable organizations.
So it's a conspiracy among Freemasons to wear this clandestine
to make
flower.
people believe that it meant something more than it did.
And there is a school of thought that say that there's no evidence that captured Freemasons in the concentration camps wore the forget-me-nots. And I'm not arguing. I'm not saying that's true or not. I'm just saying.
Okay, so I'll tell you why.
Because I like that story.
I reacted as knee-jerk as I did, because several months ago I did a presentation on King Solomon's Temple, and I cornered Chris Rodkey, who is a minister at
episode
PhD.
Right. Yes. Very knowledgeable guy. And I said, Chris, I'm doing this presentation. What can you tell me about King Solomon's Temple? And the very first words out of his mouth were, well, there's no actual evidence that there ever was a King Solomon's Temple. Dropped the mic, done, walked away. Like, what?
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways. One trick is to tell stories that don't go anywhere.
Gonna get us in trouble.
Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville, I needed a new heel for
It's when we wore an onion on our belt.
It's stonecutters. So, I mean, that's kind of where I went. It's like it's a myth, right? It's a story, and I care more about the meaning of the myth than the actual data points of the story.
Got it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So,
and we can say that about our whole.
That's what we're all about,
degree.
right? We teach through symbols and allegories and stuff, and that's the important thing. And
right.
And for me, and I've been to the Holocaust Museum, and I've seen how many Masons were killed by the Nazis. So that part is true enough for me that it resonates. So that's, and I didn't mean to slam the door.
No, I didn't think that you did, because I love the story, and I love the forget-me-not. I was not poo-pooing the forget-me-not. I was saying, hey, I read this interesting story. And here it is.
And I just slammed the door on you.
All right,
I apologize for that.
I gave you your book back.
Rude.
I'm done.
So we're gonna take.
up.
Speaking of books, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna hear the news from Jack Harley. We're gonna hear the book segment.
Oh. Brother on the Street.
Oh, no, are we doing the book segment again?
Brother on. It's a special episode this time. And it's actually better because I read it too.
Can I?
I read it.
I would like to file a complaint.
Because you're the only one that didn't read the book this week.
No, because last episode I said great. So somebody's gonna give the intro, the header, right? Like, can somebody please record and now book report or whatever the hell you guys are calling it. And you know what? We clapped, said record.
Yeah,
and,
Larry,
and we went and it just plowed right into it.
Yeah, Larry was going to get Dick Kenna to do it, and he just never did.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Crib notes.
So, Larry, what'd you guys read this week?
We read Coloring Lent. A little bit of background. We had the Reverend Dr. Christopher Rodkey on our show. I think it was our 5th or our 7th show.
Something like
Probably one of the best shows we've done, and actually kind of set the pace for
top 30.
The quality, the quality of this program. Chris has written numerous books. I don't want to go into too much detail about all of the degrees he has. What did you call him? He's a PhD. What was it? Paris, Harvard, and Dallastown?
And Gap, yeah.
And Gap.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's written many, many books. And some of them hardcovers, of course. Too Good to Be True was one of them. All these available on Amazon. And the Synaptic Gospel, he's co-wrote with a whole bunch of people, too. I think to his credit, he's got 7 or 8 actual real books out there. But he comes along and he decides that he wants to do something a little bit different. So he gets an artist together, and they actually put together a coloring book. Jack, you can tune in here. And actually, it becomes his best seller. It's huge. It's all over the place. And I don't want to call it, I have difficulty in saying that it's an adult coloring book, because to me, a coloring book is a coloring book. It doesn't matter what age you are.
Well, it is a coloring book. No question about that. It's the format is that, the structure is that, the paper is that. It's a coloring book. Now, first of all, you have to go back and say coloring is huge right now, right?
And adult coloring.
Adult coloring books are gigantic. It's a very popular hobby. So for Chris to pick that as a format, I think was really clever,
smart.
As a businessman. And one of the reviews that I read alongside this thing was one part of it. The reviewer said, "I'm not really sure I want to sit down with my kid and color the crucifixion of Christ, right? Because those are colors I'm not sure, what that's going to look like at the end of the day." But it's what I like about how he's written it is that he's pulling in things that aren't just gospel. He's pulling in Old Testament references to Isaiah and even extra biblical stuff from authors that are reflecting on it. Monks who wrote in the 1300s or whatever. So he's bringing in a lot of stuff. And as I'm reading this thing, I'm thinking, I really ought to find that source and really understand what the source is saying that he's taken this little snippet out of. I always like to do that when I read anything.
In the entire coloring book, he's got all of that information in the back of the coloring book.
Yeah.
But
it's not a hyperlink, so I'm never going to see it.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, I've never known of a color book that has a bibliography, that has a lexicon. I mean, it has everything in this coloring book. So it is quite amazing there, which goes on to explain each page in great and vast detail.
Yeah. And for as an image format, it's kind of like a Peter Max kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kind of.
The graphics are really
more stained glass like.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not even. It was Peter Max, right? Is that? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, you're thinking right.
60s,
yeah.
The art.
I met him on a beach in Acapulco, and we got drunk together.
Really?
Seriously.
So that's a scary banana hammock.
Name drop.
But that's the kind of pictures that it looks like. It could be stained glass. It would be modern stained glass.
Yeah, and it's a rare book that I've actually read because there's very few words in it.
And 39 pages.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do know that he got input from a lot of people of different. Not faiths, I guess, of different.
Definitely different faiths.
Yeah.
He's all
I
about
mean,
reaching out
it's really open. Whereas, he's a UCC minister. My wife is a Mennonite. She loves it. It's really anybody. It's a good book.
It's intellectually challenging, and it pulls from all those faiths because, after all, it's one world, right? And I think that's what Chris is trying to get through in that is that. Everything pulls toward the center. We just all have a different perspective on where the center is.
Yeah, he was actually just down the street last night.
For a Ramadan celebration.
He had a Ramadan dinner at the Islamic Center.
He invited us.
Yeah, I had a.
Did you go?
No. I was. We have a quint, a 1/5 of a quints that we mentor, my wife and I. Help him with homework and do different stuff. So now we were a little busy, but alrighty. So I think that was a good segment. We should say.
Well, okay, yeah. Now,
how do you get a hold of the book?
You can go to Amazon. You can buy the book. I think it's about $2 and some cents.
We can put the link up on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we put the link up on our Facebook page.
What's the name of the book again?
It is Coloring Lent. There will be a new one out, a new coloring book out in November of this year, 2017, and that is a Coloring Advent, which we have copies of that in our file. He was gracious enough to send us copies for that being released. So he's going to have 2 coloring books out. So he should be rolling in the money. really.
He'll be 100 there.
He's selling.
We should bill him for this plug.
We should really, you know that. This is sponsored by Coloring Lent. But anyway, let's rate it. Jack, what did you think?
I forgot what our scale was.
Love it, read it, give it, or burn it.
Or meh.
Read it.
No, there is no meth.
Read it.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
Read it and do it or give it, you know.
I say give it.
I'm going to rate it, color it.
No,
Ditto. I'm not part of this
outside
segment.
the box.
Yeah, because Jason doesn't read. So what else do we have coming up? That was it. Oh, Jack, you have any news for us today?
No.
Then I guess we can wrap up and get out of here. This show's been taking days.
Do you have news?
I could have news if you want me to.
Let's have news.
Yes, we want news, definitely.
It's a very short article. It fits in well with our with some of our topics today.
Give it a second.
All right. Lead in the news.
Good news, everyone!
Masonic Light News. News not fit to print.
In an unprecedented recent development last week, 12 Masons met together socially outside of a lodge meeting. It was reported that no one complained about anything, and the subject of how it used to be was never brought up. After an investigation into the matter, one past master responded, "Well, that's not how we did it in my year." To which the master replied, "Yes, we know." And that's the Masonic news. So mote it was.
Thank you, Mr. Harley. And I don't know. I think we've said enough.
Well, what do we got going on?
I don't know. Larry, you have anything going on Masonically?
Masonically, no, not really.
There's lots going on. Some of it will already happen.
We have Grotto coming up this
Grotto Saturday. Did any of you RSVP? Because only like 17 people have RSVP'd.
I did.
17 people.
As soon as I get that email, I RSVP.
Did you RSVP, Larry?
No, I did not because
you going?
Larry.
I'm not going.
Jason?
Not going.
Why not?
Because is it really Saturday or is it Sunday?
Saturday.
Sunday's Father's Day.
Either. So that's a whole other.
Okay, so Jack and I will be there.
I won't be there. Hopefully, I will be visiting Grand Lodge.
Pete will be there to resuscitate me.
I mean, it disturbs me. We do have commitments to do something else. We have, but geez, the food he's going to have is incredible.
Yeah, pork shoulder,
ribs, chicken. Oh my God.
So for all of you hearing this, it just happened.
Right. Yeah. Larry.
Yo.
Goose and gridiron, of course.
Yeah.
That's all you have.
That's all I have.
All right, Jason. You. I know your schedule. Jason, you have a lot because you work in the field.
I do, yeah. Work. But for Father's Day, I think we are going to Grand Lodge, and we're going to spend the day in Philadelphia. And it would have already happened, but there's also a
That's what you wanted for Father's Day?
What's that? No, I want to go to Philly, but I've been trying to go to Grand Lodge on a Saturday for a year now.
If he worked at a coal mine, would he get down a hole for Father's Day?
Grand Lodge is cool. And then, and then there's Fogo de Chao around the corner.
He has learned to circumscribe his desires.
Red, green.
Stated meeting. Yeah. In the next couple weeks, debating going to the Quarterly in Pittsburgh, and then work.
Going to the Quarterly.
I did my upcoming at the beginning, so I kind of got covered already. So
yeah, Grotto, and then I guess Council coming up.
Chapter, come to Chapter.
You come to Council, I'll go to Chapter.
I'm not a member of Council.
Well, then we work on that.
You're a member of Chapter.
I'm going to develop
an oath to attend.
Maybe I'll develop a. I have a project I want to work on. Maybe we can make millions. Make a commercial for next week. A Masonic fidget spinner. To keep the Tyler awake or somebody. Maybe Larry, take us out of here.
Yeah, actually, we have a Masonic fidget spinner. It's our cell phones. How many times have you been in a lodge meeting, look down, see a glow in someone's face because you know what they're doing? That's time to go home.
Yay.
So let's play some music. Special thanks to Monarch Studios in our beautiful, beautiful studio. Love coming here. Our producer and co-host, Jason Lewis, who, again, takes this show to new heights every time. Because you guys have no idea how we can screw things up, and
it's kind of like an Undertaker after like Sonny Corleone went through the The toll booth?
That's a really good
I was
one.
gonna say by
Absolutely.
heights, it's just a giant
Absolutely.
pothole that I level off again.
I need you to use all of your powers, all of your gifts.
Jack Harley, our news director, which always keeps us entertained. R.C. McCorvey, brother on the street.
Yeah, where are you, RC?
And Seth Anthony, again, for his wonderful insight into fraternities that we had no idea existed. And also thanks, Seth, for coming on the show tonight. You helped add, how should I say, a certain amount of credence to what we were trying to do.
Class?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
see him. My visualization of Seth is a wise owl sitting in a tree.
And
just looking
somehow he associates with us.
Exactly.
Maybe it's the glasses.
Our audience response advisor, lukewarm. Our grammar consultant, I am Shirley Wright. Also, recognition to our law firm of Hammer, and Boom. And I want to leave you with one thought, okay? Nah, I'm not going to leave you with one thought. Never mind.
Did you give a shout out to Rathbone Museum?
Oh, no.
It's
no.
in the notes, Larry.
It's in the notes. Well,
Who wrote those?
all
notes?
right, shout out. Anybody have a shout out beside me?
No.
Okay. Shout out to the J.H. Rathbone Museum, which you can contact at www.jhrathbonemuseum.org. A museum and library dedicated to preserving the rich history of fraternal organizations in the United States. Or you can stop in somewhere in Ohio, or is it Indiana?
Larry, step on that snake.
Oh, Indiana. Okay, all right. We can talk about that later. But anyway, make a visit. We do this to promote the Rathbone because our dear, dear friend Seth Anthony is a member of the board of directors for that organization.
I think Seth should start a new segment called Seth, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. This is Jason Lewis.
This is Jack Harley.
This is Peter James Ruggieri.
This is Larry Maris. Thanks for listening.
Smiling with our voices.
We got to sign off with a happy face, all right?
Smile when you're on the phone.
Smile.
You are what you eat. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the old Verizon technique. Smile when you're on the damn phone. Let them feel that smile.
This is Jason.
Oh, that's great, see?
I always sign off cheery.
Yeah, Pete doesn't.
Yar.
And Jack, it depends on what mood they're in.
I think Jack should sign off as sometimes Jack, but lately it's been pretty consistent, Jack.
Hey, everybody.
I didn't know when I went to my confirmation you had to have a confirmation name, so I just said James. So my name is Peter James.
I can hear you guys just fine.
You can hear Larry fine?
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear Mo and Curly?
Knock, knock, knock.
I guess that's a yes. All right.
Yep. Well, I don't think we have. Shit, I don't know what to say.
Well, it's your idea.